Hey guys, it's Max over at Anders Group. I wanted to hop on here and discuss our government contracts. Part of the business that we may not talk about as often, but it's certainly something we are looking to expand and continue on. So wanted to make a informative video and hopefully answer some frequently asked questions and really just provide insight on some key topics. So when you hear the term IHS, that stands for Indian Health Service. These are the government contracts I'm referring to, and they're typically located on Indian reservations nationwide. Contract length can vary anywhere from 13 weeks all the way up to 5 years, depending on how long we're awarded that contract for. And then of course, we do cover a wide range of disciplines on these contracts, anywhere from medical imaging to radiology, therapy, and then of course, nursing as well. So how do we go about obtaining or securing these government contracts? So as a company, before we secure a contract, there is a competitive bidding process, and agencies will conduct thorough market research to understand the cost of living in that area and really determine a competitive yet appealing rate to attract top tier providers. And then of course, hopefully we win the bid, and once we do win the bid, it's go time from there. We're responsible for placing providers, ensuring compliance, and keeping the department running smoothly and fully staffed all at the same time. So what happens on assignment, or really what happens after you sign a contract with us? So once a provider is selected, the compliance process will begin. This step can be rigorous. It can take up to 4 weeks to receive clearance from the facility. It'll involve things such as extensive background investigations, fingerprinting, required government forms and documents, all the usual items. And keep in mind that this is the government we're talking about. It can move a little slower than we would like. There's a lot of red tape involved with healthcare already. However, usually once you are compliant with the facility, it doesn't take too much more to remain in good standing if you choose to extend your assignment with that facility. Moving on to housing. This is a huge important topic. Obviously, as I mentioned, a lot of these facilities are going to be in rural areas, so housing can be a challenge. Luckily, a lot of our clients do provide on-site housing to these providers at a fairly decent price. So that is certainly an option. And then of course, if they don't provide housing, we have to look into other areas such as Airbnb, Furnish Finders, Travelers Haven, and then of course, even local hotels and motels. Moving on to pay. So what can you expect? Well, the pay package is not too much different than a standard commercial contract pay package. The only difference is what's called a government fringe bonus, and this is paid out to you weekly. Essentially, it's just another line item on your contract that we are required to pay out to you as a company via the federal government. And lastly, I wanted to close with this because I think it can get lost in just the daily work routine grind. But beyond the logistics, one of the most rewarding aspects of working with IHS is really the opportunity to help serve these underprivileged communities. As I mentioned, many of these assignments are in rural areas on Native American reservations, and access to healthcare, it's very limited out there. So by stepping into these roles, providers are not just fulfilling a contract, they're making a real impact on communities that need it most. And I think that's a cool thing to remember, and it's a gratifying feeling knowing that you're helping out these communities. And just knowing there's a bigger purpose to all this. So anyways, I hope that helps everybody out. I hope it answered some of your questions. If you guys have any more questions or concerns, I would love to chat with you myself, or you can contact your Anders recruiter. But that's all I have for you guys, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their week. Take care.